Oh,
Also, my dad kind of cheats because every time he goes in to do the optometrist check, he basically bullies the guy into giving him a good enough score to continue to get flight pay.
I'm your captain, bitch.
Basically, that's what it is.
That's
He goes in, he's a commander, and they're all lieutenants because that's basically what you are if you come in as a medical service corps. And so when they're like, read the top line, and he's like, up, down, left, right. And they're like, yeah, none of that was correct. He's like, yeah, but you're going to write that I got all of it correct because I'm a commander and you're a lieutenant and I can end you. And they're like, all right, so 10 out of 10.
Do, 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 do.
Oh man,
Everything's
it's the
okay.
worst. I've
Ah.
told you about how he like shows his badge or shows his ID to cops to get out of speeding tickets all the time.
You didn't tell us that, but it's probably true.
I mean,
Oh yeah,
I had a
at any time.
match.
He's done this in front of me too. Especially he got pulled over in Florida. This is my favorite fucking story. So he does this all the time. If he gets pulled over for speeding, he'll when they they pull you over and they're like license or registration, please. And he opens up his wallet and he doesn't look at it. He just takes out a card and shows it to the guy, and then he looks at it and goes, "Oh, I'm sorry. This is my military ID because I'm in the military. Let me get you that license, officer." And every single time they're like, "Never mind, you're good. Don't speed anymore. Thank you for your service." And they go back to their car, and I'm like, "You are a scumbag." But so we were
driving doesn't have to pay tickets.
exactly. So we were driving back from the base that he worked in when we lived in Tampa, and so we were on the freeway. There was an accident in front of us. We were going like
Way too
we
fast.
were doing like 10 miles an hour, like trying to get past this accident because it was just like
Oh.
2 lanes of the 4 lanes were blocked. It was all fucked up, so it was horrible. And this was when my old man had fuck, it was a Porsche 911. I don't remember exactly what he had. I want to say it was a 914, but I might be wrong. But he had some sports car that he wanted to run as fast as it can run. And so we get past it, and immediately he's doing like 85. Meanwhile, the speed limit is like 60. So within like maybe 20 seconds of him like ripping it up to 85, the lights come on, the sirens come on, somebody's behind us. And I'm like, you deserve this. You literally just got past a car accident. You deserve what's happening to you. So the guy walks over to us, and my dad pulls the whole like, my military ID shtick. And this guy is not buying it. Like he's just stone faced. He's like, license and registration, sir. And I was like, oh my god, this is the best day of my life. And through the whole thing, my dad is like, so like, yes, sir. Okay, sorry, sir. I won't do it again, sir. And he gets it done, and the police officer gives my dad. I don't remember what it was. If it was like he had to go to court, or if he just got like sentenced to it then. But he had to retake like traffic school.
Oh god.
Because he didn't just get
boy.
speeding, he got like whatever the
Reckless
like,
driving?
next tier. I think it's like reckless driving or something like that. So he had to go back to like traffic school. But the way that it works in Florida is you could just do it online, and so every single lesson, my dad would open it, copy the entire thing, paste it into a Word document on his other monitor, and then just wait for the next section to like load up so he could go to the next section. And he just did that for all of them. And then when he opened up the quiz, he just searched the Word document. I was like, you are a bad influence on me. Like if I ever get put in prison, understand it's because you do shit like this.
I mean, that's just smart. I don't know what you're on about.
Like if you can get away with it, why not, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's smart, but at the same time, like he was straight up doing illegal shit. Like he was doing 85 and a 60 as we got past a car accident in front of the cops that were at the accident. Like as we got past, he's like dropping it down like 2 gears to like full like 3,000 RPM the engine. Like it was not subtle what he was doing, and I'm like, you are an idiot. How did you not think this was gonna happen?
That sounds like fun. Although, yeah, that reminds me, I drive way too fast sometimes.
I drive way too fast now,
Yeah.
especially when I'm driving between Ohio and Virginia, but thankfully there's like nobody on the roads.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like I think I average like 80 or 85 when I'm driving between Virginia and Indiana.
Do you have a car? Oh yeah, you drive, so you have a car
Yeah.
out there.
Well then, let's talk about Megalobox, the season
Alright.
series finale, because I
The
doubt it's gonna
series
get
finale.
a second season.
It could.
Who the fuck knows? I don't know. I don't care if it does, because
I don't think it
this was a
needs
perfectly
one.
fine
It-
ending.
It's
So
told a
before
great
we-
story.
Before we start, remembering our new tradition, I'm Nick.
Oh shit.
I'm Jeff.
I'm Brandon. I forgot we did this.
Yeah, it's our new tradition. We're finally becoming somewhat of a legitimate podcast and introducing ourselves.
Well, how long were we recording before?
About half an hour.
Okay, easy.
I'll just like clip it to the right time. Who the fuck knows?
Mm.
This is a very laissez-faire podcast.
Yeah. We had to have an audience before I begin to give a shit enough about, like,
You know, doing
structure.
stuff, being good talkers.
yeah,
Being good at our quote-unquote jobs.
This isn't our job.
this is not our job.
It could be, though.
something I do on Sundays because I'm bored.
It's not even monetized, so it actually can't be our job.
I'm pretty sure they're not monetized. I don't know.
I
I just
mean,
have an ad
so that-
blocker on, so I don't
uh,
actually know.
The last time Brendan told me about this, they weren't monetized.
I should
They
check.
almost became entirely not monetized when we were trying to make the website because we were going to put ourselves down as were we going to be a religious institution or were we going to
a
be
non-profit?
non-profit?
Oh god.
He almost listed us down as something. And I was like, how about we don't? Just so that if we ever become a business, it doesn't make this shit super uncomfortable.
Well, right now it's personal, so it can really be anything. And
Exactly.
we can always change it. Ideally, though, we're gonna get like a .com, cause fuck .us they're fucking stupid. Not
I mean,
letting me
ideally,
fucking-
you get the .com from the Anime Book Club people.
Yeah, I need to like fucking talk to them on Twitter. Wait, no. Okay, the .com is like for sale, but it's $900. So I'm
Oh,
not about
right.
to
The
do that
.com
shit.
is. We just need the Twitter. Yeah.
The .club is owned by the dudes who own the Twitter handle.
Right.
so-
Anime Book .club.
I could also just send them a DM and be like, "Yo, bitches, give us the shit, please. I'll give you a total of $5."
I'll give you 5 Professor Fun bucks.
I'll give you 1 token to Chuck E. Cheese.
I've got a few coupons to Toys R Us with your name on it.
I've also got this free subscription to Blockbuster. You sound like a fucking hyena.
I feel like my laugh changes day in and day out.
This is like you've done
wanna
that
make
laugh every couple of times, but like you've done it twice in a row now, so I just really wanted to mention it.
I've got like 4 or 5 different laughs that I just subconsciously cycle through.
Yeah,
The other one that has been named that I'm aware of is the Seth Rogen chuckle that I'll give every once in a while.
I'll have to wait. I'll have to...
That
Yeah, the lot deeper one, the deep and slow one.
I don't remember that one. I'll have to look out for it.
Somebody in,
watch out for it now.
when we were in high school commented the fact that I would chuckle like Seth Rogen. So now I have 2, the hyena and the Seth Rogen.
I don't remember anyone's name from high school.
I remember Brandon.
our
Nick,
names.
Alex.
Barely.
Ouch.
I mean, to be
Honestly-
fair, Brandon does mess up our names all the time. Well, at least my
That
name.
is
all the
good point.
time.
Yeah.
So it is really like, yeah, he barely knows my name.
So that's why I just call Brandon B half the time, so he doesn't know if I'm actually calling him B because it's the first letter of his name is B, or just because I call people B.
Do you call other people B other than Brandon?
No,
It's... Oh, that was like a common thing, because my...
it
like,
is the common thing.
Yeah, because my
I just don't
fucking-
do it.
My old coworkers also used to call me B. And then before that, one of my friends used to call me B. And then when you started doing it, and my coworkers started doing it, I was like, what the fuck? Why is this happening? It was just very bizarre. But then I was like,
Yeah, it's a
I
pretty
don't
common
really
thing. Yeah.
care. Yeah. But anyways, Megalobox. It was a good ending. I liked it.
Yeah, I was satisfied.
Played Nick like the
Uh,
Bongos.
Played Nick like the.
Nick
yeah, I
Nick
was
was
the
ready
whole
for that
time
Death
I
in the
was-
Ring. And to be
I
fair, I
was.
kind of was too.
They
But
were
I'm pretty
tickling
sure-
it a lot. They were like really pushing for that. Like,
Well,
Yeah.
Yeah, because every
Um,
single fucking episode has die in it.
not only that, but like at the end of the fight, they were like, you know, some I don't remember what it was exactly. It was cool, but it was about like how the bones were proof that you were there, something like that. So do not
Mm,
fear death.
No, it's more like whether you were born with pebbles in your pocket or something like that. Like whether you're poor or rich, like death will come for you. But like if you live life the way you want it to, then you won't fear it. That was roughly the quote that Yuri said. So originally, when Yuri like was saying that quote, I thought he died.
Hmm.
Um, but then as like they slowly like started to show like that, it could go either way. That's when I was suspicious and thought, okay, I don't think anyone died. Then we saw Yuri, and I was like, that's when my heart rate went up. And I was like, oh no, did Joe actually die? And then we finally saw Joe, and I was happy. But yeah, they were really like, they for sure wanted people to think it was gonna end like tomorrow's Joe. I should have Joe.
Right.
And they were like, ha, fuck you guys. This is our show. End it the way we want.
This is different.
Yeah. The fight still was a little. It left stuff to be desired. Most like most fights except for the Aragaki fight, but it was still fun. I enjoyed it.
I was surprised that they decided to start it at round 4.
Yeah, they did actually. Because like for the first part, it was probably just them beating on each other for a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I feel like the first blow is also an important one. Like it would show, like it could be used to show how I guess maybe the audience feels at first, or like the first blow is an important one, and to entirely skip that, I don't know.
I get that, but I guess for this fight, I think they were trying to show that it was like just a very long drawn out fight. Because up until now,
Yeah.
fights have ended like by the 4th round, and then
Yeah.
like
Yes.
in this case, the match was just starting essentially at the 4th round because it went all the way to the 13th, which is 39 minutes. So that's a long time for people to be beating on each other. Yeah, right. Each round's 13 minutes. Or 3 minutes.
Each
round is 3 minutes. So it
each
was
round
roughly.
is. Aren't they 4 minutes?
I thought there were 3.
Oh, you might be right.
4 or 3,
actually,
regardless, it's a long time to be fighting. And at least Nick, you were right about this. That there was no limit to the match.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was limitless.
I think it was cool. I agree. A lot of the fight, it definitely left some stuff to be desired. The actual like choreography of the fight.
Mm-hmm. Most fights, I think.
Yeah, a lot of the fights in the show did. And as far as final fights go, more of my complaints about the fight have to do with like the generic fight. Like not I have nothing against it as the final fight. I think it was a good fight. It went 13 rounds. It was, as they mentioned in the show, like a momentous occasion for the sport. Like fights had not gone 13 rounds up until that point. This was the first time something had ever gone that long. So I think for like a final fight, they did a good job at presenting it in a way that made it feel epic. But the fight itself, like the choreography of it, could definitely have been better.
Yeah.
I feel like. I kind of wanted the one thing that kind of annoyed me is that like, or not annoyed me. The one thing I wish that they had done in the show in general is if you're going to have like a more defensive style, like a lot of it was about like, dance with them, move around. I wish they had done less with just blocking punches and more with like actually dodging.
Oh yeah, because both of them just like take it. They're like, fuck dodging. I'm just gonna like.
They just take it, or they kind of like parry with the hands, like they kind of move it off to the side with like the glove box or blocks.
That's why I like Pepe's fight, because like he actually was dodging and like doing a bunch of cool moves.
Exactly.
And then he just gets fucking knocked out.
I wish they had done more with that. Like there have been some really cool fighters, like Roy Jones Jr. Phenomenal fucking fighter, and he was really good at dodging, and that's what made him so exciting. Was like he would put his hands behind his back and just let the opponent come in at him, and he would dodge like 4 punches in a row, and then just hit you with some like hook that sent you down to the mat. Like he was exciting, and he didn't have to do it with like keeping his hands up and constantly like parrying. He trusted himself to be faster, and that was really cool of him. So I wish that like in this final fight to like really emphasize the dancing, they had more like they both throw punches and they both keep dodging punches, so it's this more like choreographed
more
dance.
Elegant.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it could have gotten more scrappy as time went on, but I wish that it had started off a little bit more elegant.
I get that. Aside from that, the writing was still great. There's a lot of like cool lines, like Jeffrey said in the show.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, something I forgot to mention. those punches, like, they just feel so good. Like,
They
they
do,
appear and, like, just everything about the punches in these shows. Sure, like, the actual fight itself wasn't that great, but the way those hits, like, the way they animate those hits and the way it sounds are, like, amazing.
Mm-hmm.
It really sells you on, like, the fact that these punches are, like, trucks.
It kind of reminds me of the fight scenes in Pacific Rim, the first one,
Oh my god,
Yeah.
yeah.
where it just felt like they had weight behind them. Like
Like,
every
they-
hit that connected, it felt strong.
Like, they felt like massive machines, like, fighting.
Right.
Yes.
God damn,
I feel
I'll
like that
watch
has to
them
do with a
again.
lot of like the slow motion that was used in both Pacific Rim and in Megalobox. Like they used a lot of slow motion.
In Pacific, not really. It's just that the mechs just move slowly.
Yeah.
It was very
Well,
deliberate.
the slowness of both of them.
Yeah, okay. I guess slowness is a better word than slow motion. But yeah, it like each move seemed like calculated. It seemed strong, and there are a lot of shows that I like that have like decent action. I think the Clone Wars is like a great show, but the action, like the punches, do not feel hard. Like a lot of punches happen in that show, but none of them feel like they're powerful. This one, you feel like yes, this is a good punch.
I know one way that Jackie Chan made his punches feel like stronger is that
Uh-huh.
he would film a punch in two angles. He'd film the punch like a double shot of the two people fighting. He'd film the punch there, and then he would have a camera closer to the punch, and he would start 3 frames after like the punch hit in like the first cut. So you'd see the punch in the first scene. The next scene following it would be like 3 frames right before it hit, so you'd kind of see the punch again, but it wouldn't be like enough that you felt the delay. But the punch kind of felt longer, and instead of cutting at the punch, kind of getting rid of that like sense of getting rid of the hit, he'd show
Right.
the hit again, and it'd just feel that much better. So that was really cool. I got that from some dude on YouTube. I don't remember.
That's an interesting technique.
Yeah. If you like look at some of his old movies, he does it a lot.
This is Jackie Chan.
Yeah, Jackie Chan. I saw it.
Okay.
Let's see. I noticed it in that fucking one Chinese movie he was in, where he was a cop. I don't remember it. I watched it a while ago, but yeah.
Rush Hour?
No, not Rush Hour.
Rush Hour
No,
2.
Chinese. Like this was
Rush
filmed
Hour
in
3.
Chinese.
I'm sure
Well,
that
I
Rush
think
Hour
Rush
2
Hour
was filmed.
movies-
Regardless.
Like they were extremely popular in China, I believe.
Yeah, he's also like a fucking pop star singer there too.
He's a singer there.
Yeah, people love him.
I know people love him. I just didn't think he was a singer.
Yeah, here he is.
Doesn't he have like sort of questionable like social policies though?
I do not know. I just know that people love him.
Well, I
Political
feel like
views
if you
and
look into
controversy.
like any celebrity, like
don't
you're gonna
know.
have
Actually-
some controversial opinion that they have.
Probably, like I haven't heard anything about Jackie Chan specifically. Are you thinking of Manny Pacquiao?
No, I am not. I don't know anything about what he has done, what Manny Pacquiao has done to.
He doesn't like the gay people.
He doesn't like. Also he is a senator in the Philippines, I believe.
Yeah, he's
Is he really?
He's a political
Yes.
figure.
He's a political figure in the
big political
Philippines.
figure in
I
the
don't
Philippines.
remember if he's a senator or if he's like a something else.
I think he's like something akin to a senator.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure the Philippines are like
Super
very
conservative.
Catholic,
Yes, they're very very Catholic, very religious.
so I'm not surprised.
Yeah, he doesn't like the gays.
The gays
Yeah, it's the gays.
with a capital T and a capital G.
Yes, because it's just a whole group. It's just the gays.
The gays,
The
like
gay
the
monolith.
Jews.
The gay agenda with capital T, G, and A. That was a good show, though. Holy fuck.
Yes, very very good show. I would watch it again.
W-
I
w-
don't necessarily think that they should make a second season, but
I don't.
I'd watch it.
I'd watch it. Yeah, I'd watch it too if there was like the second. If it was like another character like rising up to go to Megalo box and then fighting Joe at the end. That'd be pretty cool.
I don't know.
Who the fuck knows? There's ways.
I
to make
don't
it
know
cool.
if I wanted them to do a second season. I don't know if I'd want them to do another underdog story. Like
Yeah.
they've kind of
understand.
told the underdog story now. And if they want to tell the story of like like a challenger to Joe, like somebody who looked up to him and has always pursued like the chance to fight Joe. Not as like an underdog story, but just as like a guy coming up, has always been like part of the ranks, is getting better, is always looking to fight Joe. I think that would be interesting to do.
That still kind of sounds like an underdog story, because like
I mean, there's a
don't know.
difference between like an underdog
Yeah.
and like nobody respects him, and like somebody who, like Ash. Ash isn't an underdog. He's just somebody who always wants to be the champion.
Ash from Pokemon.
Yeah,
I mean, fuck him. He sucks.
he does suck, but he wasn't an underdog. But he was always like the challenger.
God, never got past the fucking round 16. Which, by the way, rest in peace. Spain, Argentina, fucking who else? Fucking Portugal.
Portugal
Jesus Christ.
and Denmark.
Denmark. I guess they were kind of
Denmark
good.
lost to Croatia.
They make Legos, so I was rooting for them. Not really. I didn't even know they were in it.
Yeah, a bunch
They
of
were.
like really good teams. Just they weren't
Well,
historically good. Historically good. You can't deny that.
yeah, I can't.
Yes, historically good teams. I've just been playing like absolute dog shit. Jesus
I mean, at least
Christ.
they made it to the group of the round of 16, unlike Germany.
Oh, rest in peace, the fucking champion's curse.
Fucking good riddance. I hate Germany.
Like,
Get rot in a pit.
at this point, I'm just like hoping Mexico wins the cup. I hope
That
it's
would be
Mexico.
hyphy. If
Fucking-
Mexico wins, the chip would
Dude,
be hyphy.
Did you see like the fucking videos of like everyone in Mexico going over to like the South Korean embassy and making him start taking tequila shots?
Yes.
Dude, this man just like grabbed the bottle and just started chugging the tequila. So
They were pretty excited about South Koreans that day.
yeah, so because South Korea beat Germany, it let Mexico make it to the round 16. So to like celebrate that, a couple of Mexicans went over to the South Korean embassy in Mexico, called out the ambassador from South Korea to Mexico, and they just started partying with him. There's a video of him grabbing a tequila bottle and he just starts chugging it.
And it wasn't just that because South Korea won, it was also that Mexico lost their game.
Yes,
So the only way, like Mexico lost 2-0 to
3-0.
Sweden. 3-0 to Sweden.
3-0. Mhm.
And so the only way they could get by was if South Korea beat Germany.
Or tied. I
And
think. It's tied. So Mexico had 6 points. Germany had 3. Germany needed to win. So
Germany needed to win.
yeah, if it was a tie or
so-
if it was a loss,
I
Mexico
think
lost
South
it.
Korea scored in like the 84th minute or something like
Yes.
that. And they scored again in basically injury time for a go at like a,
Mhm. No, not injury
kill the
time,
game kind of goal, a
stoppage
dagger
time is what
goal.
it's called.
Yeah, stoppage time, or it's also called injury time.
Oh, I remember that.
I think it's more of like a European thing.
Okay.
But yeah, so they scored in like the 80-something minute. Mexico was already down like 2-0 when South Korea finally scored. And so all of Mexico, while they were mourning the fact they were like, we're going to fucking lose. It's Germany. Of course they're going to score a goal against South Korea. Like it's just going to happen. South Korea just comes out with a fucking bang and beats Germany 2-0.
Yeah.
And all of Mexico, they went from like, we're all going to die in the next 9 minutes to
Just
like it's
streaming
a
fucking
very,
K-pop like immediately.
yeah.
That almost makes me wish that I watched the World Cup.
It's much more fun when you like have a team you're rooting for and like being surrounded by people also rooting for that team. Like when I was back in, I don't know if I ever talked about. Anyway, when I was back in New York, I went to like this Mexican little diner with full of a bunch of Mexicans watching the Mexico game when they beat. Wasn't Germany? Was it Germany? It was Germany when they beat
It
Germany.
was Germany.
It was fucking wild. It was so much fun. A lot of screaming, so I kind of lost my voice, but still, a lot of fun. It's great. But yeah, Russia's now in the semifinals.
Quarterfinals.
Yes. Is that that's semifinals? No.
No, the quarterfinals
Yeah,
are the
so it's
quarterfinals.
quarter,
The
then semi.
semifinals is what comes after that.
Yeah. I was thinking like 4, because that semifinals is like 4 teams,
Oh
but
yeah,
quarterfinals is 4 matches.
4 games.
Yeah.
Yes.
Whatever. Anyways.
I just want to see Japan win tomorrow.
Oh my god.
Or is it? Yeah, it is tomorrow.
Japan versus who?
Belgium.
Oh, that'll be tough. But
It will be. But I want to see Japan win.
if it was any other World Cup, I wouldn't have hope. But it's this World Cup. It's the 2018 World Cup. Japan
It's
has
also
to make
Belgium, who's like historic for falling apart late in the World Cup.
I thought they won one game, or I thought they won a.
I mean, they beat us last time, and then they collapsed pitifully.
Oh right, they lost to Germany, right?
I believe so. Yes.
And then Germany beat Argentina after that. God damn it! I want the US to be good again, or to be good. I want to be in the US when US wins the World Cup. That's what
When
I want
we
to
win
happen.
the World Cup, that's asking for a lot.
Man, fuck you! It's in 8 years. We can get a bunch of like 10-year-olds to start like getting better.
I would be happy for seeing the U.S. in like a World Cup final.
That'd be fantastic.
It's surprising that we don't perform well in the World Cup. I mean, don't we perform very well in other things like the Olympics?
Yes, in the Olympics we do pretty well. Women's
Well, the
World
Summer
Cup,
Olympics we do pretty well.
Yeah.
The Winter Olympics, not as much.
I know women's soccer we do like we fucking stop everyone because everyone else
We
sucks.
yeah,
Like it's pretty fucking crazy how good our
we
women's
just
team
body
is.
nerds at women's soccer.
Um,
Basketball, we basically just send the greatest representation of basketball in existence, and they just
black
body
people.
nerds. It's just all black people. Yeah, pretty much.
But there isn't really like a big basketball World Cup.
I mean,
I think it's-
there is the Olympics though. It's an Olympic sport, so every
Oh,
4 years
yeah.
we send the dream team. We send that year's dream team to compete in the Olympics, and they body nerds and come home with the gold.
Right, I remember now. Spain didn't want people to. Was it the Spaniard people? No, I don't remember.
Yeah, it was the original dream team went in the Barcelona Olympics.
Yeah, that's what it was. And then
And they just went out and they didn't practice. They didn't have curfews, and so they just went out and partied and fucked a whole bunch of women. And then, surprise, surprise, about 18 years later, Spain has some really good basketball players all of a sudden. Funny how that works out.
That's why it's so funny that the one Russian dude's like, "Oh, we don't want you to fuck our women." But bitch, you want a bunch of fucking good soccer players. Let
Exactly,
whatever
yeah.
happen.
God forbid some world-class athletes show up and bang your women.
No. They don't want like the ones from like the minority countries.
I'm pretty sure if LeBron James showed up, they'd be like, "None for you, LeBron."
No suit for you. Oh, by the way, the soundtrack to Megalobox is now out on Spotify, which I'm super fucking stoked about because that soundtrack.
How many tracks are there on it?
59, but some of them are like remixes on the same track. Like there's an acoustic version of some of the songs. There's like more somber versions and like the fighting versions. Like Yuri has three themes. He's got his main theme, a sorrow theme, and then a fighting theme, which we heard this episode. Which is really fucking cool.
Do they have like the various raps that they did?
Yes, but like it's not full. They're not like actual full raps. They're not full songs. They're like just the minute and a half that we heard.
Yeah.
Which kind of sucks. I wish they were actual full songs because they'd be pretty nice.
I mean, that shit would be hard.
It
You would have to pay like a lot of money, I feel like, to get something like that.
I mean,
Yeah,
they already
you
made
would.
like a third of it. Just loop it back 3 times. Boom, you're done.
Yeah, but that doesn't negate that it will cost more because you're paying that creative
Yes.
shit.
You have to pay somebody to create to not choreograph, basically write out what the instrumental is going to be, and then design it, and then mix it all together, and then somebody has to record the vocals for all of that.
So you produced it.
Yeah. I mean, not just produce it, but compose. That's what I'm talking about. Somebody has to compose it. Somebody has to actually produce it. It's a very involved process. And so if they actually did like a 3 or 4 minute song, it's twice as much money per song for something that nobody is ever going to hear in the show.
Yeah, but it's still
It would be
And
cool.
it's
You're
for
right.
people who want to do it on Spotify, yeah.
Yeah.
I think
I'm sure
so
that
far,
in Japan, there's probably like fans who came along and added to them.
probably. There's probably some that like mix it around. Maybe they added them all together and make them one song, but I don't think that would really work.
I don't think so either.
Maybe not. Who the fuck knows? because I'm pretty sure it's the same singer throughout, who is also the voice of Sachio.
Sachio, yeah.
I don't think he's the. I don't know. I feel like he didn't do the first one at least.
Holy
Maybe,
shit.
I don't know. I'm pretty sure he did one of the last ones. I know for sure.
Yeah.
But I feel like that's the same person. Who knows?
I don't know.
Yeah, this soundtrack, absolutely fucking amazing. Visuals, fucking awesome. I also really liked the location. It was really cool. And all the characters were cool as well. There's not a lot to hate about
The
the show.
location?
Yeah, like, the sort of desolate slums in the desert. And then
Earth.
across the river you have like the megalopolis city.
Uh-huh.
Sure, we didn't see much of the city, which kind of sucked, but, oh well. You can't have everything.
Alright, I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't
I'm
think
kinda
there was
surprised
much anything I disliked about the show. Like, the fights could have been better, I guess, but I'm not gonna
Yeah, I didn't
say
hate the
that the
fights.
show wasn't good for
Mhm.
that.
I wish they could have been better, but I just didn't hate them.
Yeah. I'm kind of surprised at the end with like when they kind of cut back to like Joe and Team Nowhere and how they were doing. I was surprised at like how like modest their post Megalonia lifestyle was.
Yeah, because he's the champion. Like, he's legitimately the champ.
He's legitimately the champ and fought minimum 2, probably more like 3 or 4 like really high profile fights. Like
Yeah, like, people know his fucking name in that city.
just like winning those fights, it's like he walks away with
Fucking, he's got Nike and Puma and fucking,
Yeah.
like, so, like, the fucking spectrum of sports, like, advertisements for him now. Like, everyone's just, like, rating
Yeah,
to
no.
ride his dick.
it would be in today's market, he would probably with his like sum total of all 7 of his fights, he'd probably have $100 million in fight purses.
Who
I
knows,
mean,
maybe
you
Megalonia
get
didn't get any
paid
money.
buku bucks for pay-per-view.
But wasn't there like a whole point, like his whole gearless thing? He'd probably go without a sponsor. And the
I mean,
sponsors
you
are the
still
ones who
get
pay
paid
him, right?
to fight though.
Yeah, like,
Yeah,
that's still
like,
like,
for
is it
fighting
that much though? I thought the
Yes.
sponsors were the
Oh
ones
my
who pay you.
No.
Right, this was a championship,
majority.
and like,
So-
it was a hyped up championship too.
God. I don't know. I'm trying to remember how much Floyd Mayweather made in the Mayweather Pacquiao fight. It was buku bucks. It was. I know that Mike Tyson, when he fought back in the early '90s, I think one of his last like really big fights that he fought, he won the fight and walked away that night with a check for $30 million.
Jesus Christ.
And I know that the Mayweather Pacquiao fight, Mayweather and Pacquiao both walked away with more than that.
Yeah, they got a lot of money.
They like sum total, I think they made like 50 to 60 million between like pay-per-view and in the house and everything else. Like you make for really high profile fights that people want to see, it is a lot of money because it's an international event. Because I mean, it's not just like people in America that want to see Mayweather Pacquiao. It's people in the Philippines that want to see it, and everyone
Basically
else who
anyone
cares
else
about
likes-
boxing
yeah.
around the world, because it's an international sport. So there's a very large market for people. So there can be a lot of money that can be made in that sport. It's difficult to get up there, hence the reason why people like Floyd Mayweather are so impressive. But when you get up to that level, it's a lot of money.
That's why I was hoping that one of the announcers would be like, "Wait, isn't this just normal boxing now? This is Megalo boxing."
I thought they were going to do that at the beginning when they were like, there's 2 guys in there with no gear. It's a really weird thing to call Megalonia.
Yeah.
That would have been pretty great.
Just take the Megala out of it. It's just now Onia.
It's just boxing.
They like shout down to somebody. They're like, go to the museum. Dig up one of those belts that we used to hand out.
Go, 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 go. What would you guys rate this show with your stupid ass 10?
Oh, real
Ten
quick,
system?
one thing that I did think was kind of stupid is her whole I don't remember her name, the sponsor lady though. She's like,
Yukiko.
oh yeah, it's not a weapon. It's like, what have you like? Even the military people were like, what have you been trained? Like, what has this whole thing been about then? She's like, did she give a good
Use
response?
it.
I don't even remember.
Yeah, it's to just use it. Like,
Yeah.
it's really helpful. Like you're not gonna
Yeah.
break your back. You're gonna like lift heavier
But
stuff.
she's selling it to the military. She wasn't selling it to
I mean,
fucking medical professionals. She was like, I want this military contract. It's
Usually,
not
yeah,
like
but like,
the
so
military
think
will
of it like
adopt stuff
this.
first, though. Like they
It would
adopt a lot of
absolutely.
stuff. Like
Think of
first.
it like this. It's not a
Oh.
weapon, but it's a tool that allows you to implement other weapons.
Yeah, that's
So
true.
like, you're not supposed to use. She's not selling it to them to be used as a weapon, but you can then use it as a tool to like pick up a mortar and carry it, or like a 35 millimeter cannon and carry that shit around and fire it like it's a gun. Like you can use it as a tool for other weapons, but it itself is not intended to be used as a weapon. Yes, in Megalonia, in that context, it's being shown as a weapon, but that's because that's the best practical demonstration of all of the increases that that integrated gear is giving over other body modification, systems that exist. That's the best way to sort of demonstrate it in a live fire sort of exercise. So I understand what she was saying. I agree with her. It's not a weapon in and of itself, and it makes it. I think she was justified in trying to sell it as a contract to the military.
Also, the military will pay buku bucks for that shit.
Also, that. Let's if they really want it.
Yeah. Well, who knows if they really wanted it? We don't know yet.
I have no idea.
That's in the second season.
The second season.
Second season is actually just like a war film with the integrated gear. I mean, I wouldn't mind that, like in this setting, because like that Aragaki fucking flashback was really cool.
yeah.
It's actually just going to be FMJ.
Oh my god, 762 full metal jacket. God, I fucking love that scene. Well, more
This is my
specifically,
rifle. This is my gun. One is for fighting. One is for fun. Oh, I love that.
Yeah. Anyways, back to the scores. Jeffy, you go
Yes.
first because you're first on the little list.
Yeah, I'll give it a 9 out of 10. Very good show.
All right.
Nickelonia.
Does a 9 is there anything? This is a question, not including. Let me think of a way to phrase this that it makes sense. In all of the shows that you have seen, is there a what is your 10 out of 10 show so that I know where your bar is set? Like, do you have a 10 out of
Okay.
10 show?
It's going to sound kind of weird,
Go
and
for it.
I don't think that it's a perfect show, but I think Always Sunny in Philadelphia sets out to do everything that it to me it is as good as a show can possibly be. But I wouldn't rank it the same way I'd rank Breaking Bad. This was a very, very good show. I might give Star Wars: The Clone Wars a 10 out of 10,
Mhm.
but there are not many things that would count as a 10 out of 10.
That's fair. I was just wondering where your bar was set. What shows you considered a 10? Because I think enjoyment is very relative. Case and point, I enjoyed SAO. I know that literally everyone in existence hates that show,
I
and
only
I will
hate it
probably
because it's fun to hate it, or because it's cool to hate it.
It's yeah. Well, I mean, it is also. I
Just
can admit
not
there's a
good.
lot of shit in it that's stupid. Case and point, the thing that you hate the most about Asana's character, the fact that she becomes a wet blanket halfway through the first season,
It's fucking
is
annoying.
really kind of bullshit. And the fact that she gets fucking just taken away in the second part of season 1.
All that garbage that happens there. That's what made me stop watching the show. I was like, I'm not watching this with my sisters. Fuck that.
She just becomes I mean, that was the
That's
sister
also
thing
like
was
an extra
awkward.
thing. Yeah.
That was awkward on the side, but the fact that she just becomes this Princess Peach in the castle kind of thing, it's sort of why is she so weak? Why can she do nothing for herself all of a sudden? It was kind of shitty.
Oh, really? I can't stand characters who are like that, especially if they're at first portrayed to be these badasses.
Yeah, because she was so
who are,
fucking cool
fully
the first
capable.
episode. Jesus
Yeah.
Christ.
The second episode.
Whatever episode she shows up in. But yeah, Jeffrey, you were right on the mark. That's the one reason we all hate her is because she was really cool when she first appears, and then she becomes fucking useless.
Yeah.
That's
It's
annoying.
a lot of people hate it for that reason. I enjoyed the show. It was stupid fun. I didn't think too hard about it. I don't rewatch it all the time because I know that it's stupid. But I enjoyed it for what it was. I appreciated that, they tried to give her a character in season 2, part 2. I'm annoyed about the one scene that really annoyed me was like right at the end, right when they're about to go into like the dungeon. Her and her group are about to go into this dungeon and like solo clear it essentially, and it was supposed to be this cool and awesome moment. And they're like they get confronted by this other guild, and it looks like shit's gonna go wrong for them. And lo and behold, her boyfriend shows up to save her again.
Oh, good God, he comes back?
He does, and I'm just like, why? So cool for so long, and then he just shows up and he's like, I'm the best. Let me just throw all of my bestness around this bullshit place.
That's because the author was like, I'll insert myself. I want to be the hero again.
Yeah. Let me just show up and
is like the character is it like clearly and obvious like, oh, this is just the author writing himself in?
It's
like
literally everyone writing themselves in.
No, it's just it's a light novel MC. It's like it's the male equivalent to what Bella was to Twilight. Very minimal, like actual character, and it just lets the reader sort of be the hero.
Yeah,
it's like the male equivalent of Mary Sue, basically. Like,
yeah, he's a Mary Sue.
Is that the same? Yeah.
I would say
it's like, oh, everyone likes him. He's the most powerful.
No, nobody likes him. Everybody hates him.
No, like, no, in the show itself, everyone likes him though.
In universe, everyone likes.
No,
that's season 1, part 1. Everybody hated him. Everybody fucking hated him in season 1, part 1.
What about all
that was
girls?
The whole Peter thing.
Bullshit. What about all the fucking girls? They were like, "Oh God, you're so fucking awesome."
Okay, like 5 people like him in the entirety of season 1, part 1. Everybody else hates him. Like, if he shows up anywhere, they're like, "Hey, that's that asshole who cheats."
I guess so.
Like everybody.
Okay, but it wouldn't be a quote unquote Mary Sue.
I still think he's still a Mary Sue. It's not that everyone hates him because he's too good. It's basically what like that comes down to. That's what
it's not just. It wasn't just the implication of he was too good in the show. It's the fact that it's you're too good and you're not helping us. Because like if they die, if you're dead, you're dead. And so the problem was that there were beta testers who understood the game but weren't helping people and were just going on ahead themselves and taking all the easy quests and leaving all the people who didn't know what they were doing to do all of the hard and dangerous quests to level up.
Oh, I do
and
that.
So more people were dying.
I would do it in a heartbeat.
I mean, yes, it's the natural instinct, but that was why everybody was upset at the beta testers, which is what the main character was because they were doing this. And even though he wasn't doing that, he didn't defend himself, and he just sort of took on the title of like, I'm the worst person in existence, but I'm still better than your dumbasses, and he like ran with that. So everybody fucking hated him in the show, but he was still the best. I mean, there were problems with the main character, I will say that. I just don't want to I don't want to oversaturate the use of Mary Sue. It annoys me when people are just like, this is a Mary Sue, that's a Mary Sue, Mary Sue, Mary Sue, Mary Sue, Mary Sue. It's like, the word, like the character, like when you're describing a character as a Mary Sue, I want them to be right because that term means something. And if the character isn't a Mary Sue, don't call them that because you're just making the term mean nothing. If everybody's a Mary Sue, then nobody's a Mary Sue.
Isn't that Syndrome's motivation in Incredibles?
No, his motivation is that people with powers.
If everyone's super, no one will be super.
It's more like.
Was that what he was doing?
He wanted people to be equal, so he wanted to give everyone superpowers. I think I don't remember.
No, he was an inventor who was like, I can make these inventions which make you as powerful as a superhero, and if everyone's special, no one is special. He literally says that.
But doesn't he? He does, but wasn't part of his plan like he deployed the fucking mechanical thing on the main city, and then he was going to show up and save everybody so that everybody loved him?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's what.
And then he was going to sell his technology.
Oh, he was okay. Now I understand. That was his way of like marketing it, essentially.
Yes.
Yeah.
Cool. I now understand.
So, all right, I guess going back to how is that how you would define a 10 out of 10 show, Nick? Something that you were thoroughly entertained by? Like, I'm not suggesting that you're saying Sword Art Online's a 10 out of 10 show because you have at least some grievances.
Brandon's on call.
Yep, I'll be right back.
we'll talk about 10 out of 10 shows while you're gone.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's complicated.
Yeah, because
Because,
I guess rating systems always are, because
yeah,
everything's so subjective.
I think there is, to some extent, an enjoyment factor. It has to be a show that I do genuinely look forward to. So I think a good example of that is My Hero. So I've actually been watching it this season as it comes out every week. And it's as a show, it's very good at every episode. I don't feel like 20 minutes is passing. Like a lot
Yeah.
of what we watched this season, it was a lot of time where you were like, how much closer am I to the end? And you would like go and look at how much time you have left. My Hero, it's like you start it and it's gone like that. And it's like, wow, it's already over. I have to wait another week for the next episode. It's too bad. I'm enjoying it. Like that's sort of the feeling I want to have from a 10 out of 10 show. But I think there's more to that. So like Sword Art Online is a show that I enjoyed, but I would not give it a 10 out of 10. There's a lot about it that's kind of that could be a lot better. So like I accept that Sword Art Online, that SAO is like, in my opinion, it's like a 7 out of 10. I think in a lot of people's opinion, it's closer to like a 6 or a 5. But it's also a show that I enjoy, and there's something to be said for that. So I'm not going to overly inflate it just because I love it, but I'm not going to like, you know, oh, this has so many problems and I'm going to give it a 4 and completely neglect the fact that I genuinely enjoyed the show. Like, I think there's a careful balance that has to be sort of assessed in yourself. A
Yeah, I
show that
100%
I would
agree.
say is a 10 out of 10, though. That's hard.
It's very hard.
I mean, it's hard, especially because I feel like I've watched like a whole bunch of just random shit. Like, there's a lot of stuff that I've started and gone a lot of the way through. I think Firefly is pretty up there. I don't know if I would give Firefly a 10 out of 10, but it's up there.
It's up there. I'd give it a 9 out of 10,
I would,
but
yeah, at
I
least a
don't
9
think
out of
I'd put
10.
it at a 10.
I would have to sit down and think about it. I enjoyed a lot of it. It was a good show. Mostly I just really like Nate. Nathan Fillion is awesome in everything.
But he's one of like the big, well, not so much these days, I guess, but for a while he was like one of the big symbols of quote unquote nerd culture.
Hmm.
Like if something was nerdy, like he'd be the reference in it, and it's like, oh, something something Nathan Fillion.
That's because I think wasn't he like the voice of a whole bunch of characters for a while and shit?
Maybe, I'm not
I feel
sure.
like he did like a whole bunch of either voice act, like he did. I feel like he did voice acting for a while before. I think Castle was like one of the first major, like normal people things that I can remember him doing.
Well, like kind of always, at least from what I can remember of his things right now, like he's always kind of he had, all right, I'll call it like the Chris Pratt appeal. Like he seems just like a nice guy. Like he has
Uh,
that kind of expression to him, I guess is a word, in which people think like, oh yeah, I could see being his friend.
yeah,
And so then he also did a bunch of, I'm not going to call them lower budget, but like Doctor Strange's sing along blog, Doctor Horrible's sing
Doctor
along
Horrible
blog.
sing along blog.
Yeah, and that, like, while not low budget, like that clearly
Okay, yeah,
had
but that was also
a good
made
budget.
during the writers' strike so that those people had something to do. Like that was the Doctor Horrible sing along blog was during the Writers Guild strike. It was Neil Patrick Harris and Felicia Day and Nathan Fillion and fuck, I don't remember who the last name in that was, but there was another character or there's another person
Yeah,
involved in that who was like a big name in that industry, and they were all like they all knew each other. They were all like pretty good friends, and they were like, we've got nothing to do because the writers are not writing, and therefore none of our projects are moving forward. Let's just come together and do Dr. Horrible sing along blog. And they like wrote this musical together because Neil Patrick Harris and I think Felicia Day are like really big into musicals. And so they wrote this whole musical and they got Nate and whoever else to like join them in on this. And they just did this as like a thing to do. And so that's why
okay.
they released Dr. Horrible sing along blog, was just because they had nothing better to do for a while.
But see, I feel like that is an appealing. Like, yeah, I could see someone seeing that and it's like, okay, that's super cool, and
Yeah.
that helps to like his likability.
Yeah. he definitely has that aura of like normal guy essentially. Like you could just hang out with him.
Yeah.
I definitely know what you're saying.
I don't think there's anyone in Firefly who I didn't like. Like in terms of characters, there was no one I was like, man, fuck that guy.
In terms of characters,
Yeah. I guess main
uh,
crew. I don't remember any standout villains, but even like the more villainous types, like that.
mhm.
I don't know his name, but he plays Crowley in Supernatural. He was
Which
he
one
was
was it?
some dealer. He was in like 1 or 2 episodes, but he was like a gangster type.
Mhm.
Um, if I wasn't playing BattleBlock right now, I'd post his picture in the Discord chat.
Oh, I was wondering. Could see that you still have it open. I was wondering if you were actually playing it or if you just left it open.
Yeah, I'm playing it. I'm not going to get to World 6, obviously, but I'm just about to beat World 2.
Okay.
Um, but even the quote unquote villains are pretty likable. I don't remember his name, but the guy at the last episode who was like I don't know, a bounty hunter or something, and they beat him and he ends up floating away in his spaceship and he starts singing Ground Control to Major Tom, something like that.
Mhm.
And it's yeah, he's the bad guy, but he's still likable.
I would agree. There's a lot of characters in Firefly. Of all of the characters in Firefly, they're all like pretty. Well, they have their like asshole moments. They like work to like it all works. They're all like good. They're interesting.
Yes. Like Jane Cobb, like he frequently betrays the group.
Mhm.
But isn't he like he's one of the favorites?
I don't know how popular any of the group is. Uh, I Jane is like an asshole more often than most. So I don't know how popular he is really, but
I think I think his name is Mal. Yeah, Malcolm. Um What is probably the most popular just because he's the main character, but Wash I know is very popular of a character. I like
played
Wash.
by Alan Tudyk, I believe.
Yep. That's
I
the
love
man.
him.
He plays K2SO in Star Wars.
Does he really?
Yeah.
I'm trying to. What the fuck was I watching? Oh, he plays. I think he plays Tucker in Tucker and Dale versus Evil.
Yeah.
That is great. I love him.
Have you seen Moana?
I have.
You know the chicken?
Uh huh.
He's the chicken.
He's the chicken.
He's the chicken.
Damn, dude.
There's a hilarious video of him like doing the chicken sounds in the voice actor's booth, and then he just stops for a second. He goes, "I went to Juilliard." Here, let me see if I can find it because that's actually like a fantastic video.
Oh, right. He was the pirate in Dodgeball. Oh, I love
Is
the.
he really? Oh gosh. It's 16 seconds, so it won't mess too much with the flow of the podcast.
That man was like committed to those chicken noises, though.
No, he did a great job.
He was like eyes closed. It was all like body motion. He was not. He was not phoning that in. He was full on committed to that.
I mean,
That's
if you're
cool.
getting paid Disney money, you'd probably full on commit to that too.
I don't know. I don't know how good Disney money is for voice actors. I feel like voice actors get paid like kind of crap.
Well, Vision from the Avengers.
Yes.
So for a while he played Jarvis. He did voice acting in at least the 3 Iron Man movies.
Okay.
And I saw like, in an interview he was talking about switching from voice acting roles to live action. He said it was great because he'd work for like 3 days and he'd get paid $100,000, which is very low compared to Robert Downey Jr. with however many millions he makes per movie, but he's also only working 3 days compared
Right.
to the
However
months
long.
that a real actor would work.
Yeah.
And so,
And he gets to do all of his work inside of like the cushy air controlled booth.
yes, there's no real risk of harm or anything like that. So I feel like there's a trade-off. Like, yes, you're not
Uh-huh.
going to be paid as much, but
You can take on more projects in the same time that an actor could only take on one project.
yeah.
All right, I can see that.
Not to mention all the you're the one who listens to Critical Role, right?
Yes.
So like all of them are voice actors, and now they all do Dungeons and Dragons professionally. Well, at least Matthew Mercer does. The others, a lot of them still do other work too.
Well,
But
no, well, I actually don't know what Mercer does anymore. He obviously still goes into Blizzard every once in a while to do McCree lines.
yes, so he's still so the way he described it was, I used to be a voice actor who played Dungeons and Dragons for fun, and now I'm a Dungeons and Dragons professional who does voice acting for fun.
Okay, that makes sense. That distribution of work makes a lot of sense. I think Travis Willingham and Laura Bailey, I think, are both still like pretty involved voice actors.
Well,
Because
Ashley Johnson just is
she's
Ellie in Last of
Patterson.
Us.
She's also Ellie in Last of Us, but she's also fucking Patterson on The Blind Spot.
Yeah,
So she
which
has
is
to
why
go off
she's
and do
so
that.
frequently not on the show.
Yeah, but yeah, no, I know. I think Travis and Laura do video games a lot, and I think they do a pretty good amount, or Travis at least does a pretty good amount of anime like dubs as well.
Yeah, he
So
plays Thor in everything that's animated.
yes, he does. I mean, he looks like he plays Thor in everything that's animated.
Yeah.
The man could probably just
Yes.
play Thor. End of sentence.
Oh, Laura and Travis just had a baby.
I
Thursday.
heard. I heard. I'm happy for them. I
So
hope it turns out well. I know that
for sure.
premature births are they can be difficult.
I actually didn't know it was premature.
I have no idea if it's premature or not either. I feel like it was earlier. I feel like I feel like the announcement of it was less than 6 months ago, which I assume they didn't announce till the end of the first trimester because that's what usually happens because there's a whole bunch of reasons.
Yeah.
But I feel like it was possible. It's possible that it's premature.
Well, it's hard to say because I haven't been watching campaign 2 at all.
Mhm.
So I'm still working on 1, and
Okay.
so it's like, oh, I just saw on their subreddit the other day. It's like, oh, she's pregnant. And then like a couple days later, oh, she is now given birth.
They will be gone for a while. Yeah.
So yeah, I have no idea what the timeline is, and that's fine.
Have you gotten up through Percy's arc in the first campaign?
I'm currently in Percy's arc.
Okay. Has Taliesin done his crow impressions?
No.
Okay. At some point you'll get to see Taliesin do or hear Taliesin do his crow impressions because he was the person who he does crow impression like bird impressions in a lot of stuff, but specifically in fuck. It's one of those platforming games. It was the black and white one that was really popular a while ago. I feel like you played it. Limbo. It was in Limbo.
Oh, I've been interested, but I haven't played that.
Okay. You were not the one I was thinking of. Maybe it was, I don't know, Jorge possibly. I don't remember. Anyways, he was the crows in Limbo. And so he will at some point in the show break out his crow impression. It is amazingly good.
Okay. I'll have to look out for that now. The issue is like I don't like breaking it up, and I only really listen to them when I'm on long drives. I'll
Okay.
probably get a couple episodes done on my next trip to Virginia.
Virginia. Yeah. You probably get through like 2 on each side.
So yeah, they're 3 hours long. It takes about 9 hours to get to Virginia, so I can get through 3 there, 3 back. But I
Okay.
usually don't listen to them the whole time. I'll put on some tunes every once in a while.
Makes sense.
Mix it up as soon as one ends.
I think the last time I was coming back to Ohio, it was like halfway through because I do the same thing. I usually listen to Critical Role on the way back while I'm in the car. But like halfway through, I essentially was like driving in a blizzard, and I was like, okay, I need to focus. And I had to like turn everything off and just like sit there like hunched over my wheel, like staring out at the road ahead of me, like, hope I don't hit anything, hope I don't die. So I'm like going up and down hills, and I'm like going like down the hill at 70 miles an hour, and I'm just like, I hope I don't run into a tree.
Hey, when did you come to Virginia? Oh, I guess last time when we were all
Yeah.
together.
Yeah, over the
Was it snowing? I don't
No,
remember
not the
driving in the
winter. I had
snow.
to go back. I had to go back a second time because I had to deal. It was in like February or March. I had to go back and deal with my car registration.
Okay, I did it early, and like the guy was like, "Are you sure you want to do this? It's 3 months early." I'm like, "Yes, I don't want to do a 9-hour drive just so I
I
can."
couldn't do it early because the renewal for mine was in May. So you could only do it 3 months early, but 3 months early from May was still February. So I had to drive back in like February or March to do it.
Damn.
Yeah, it kind of sucked. But oh well, that's that. But yeah, so shows that I would give a 10 out of 10 to is what we were talking about a while ago
Yes,
before
yes,
we
it
got
was.
very distracted. Oh god, what would I give a 10 out of 10 to? I might give a 10 out of 10 to The Devil's a Part-Timer,
Yeah.
just for how well it combines like comedy with like a narrative world that like makes sense and is interesting and compelling and like a narrative structure that's interesting. I enjoyed it a lot.
It's a good show.
And I think a good component of shows that are like I would say are 10 out of 10 is like it has to be something that a lot of people would find interesting.
Okay, so public opinion does matter in what you would find at a 10 out of 10?
I don't know if it's like kind of public opinion. Like it's not public opinion so much as like I wouldn't recommend Spice and Wolf to a lot of people. I think it's a phenomenal series. I absolutely love Spice and Wolf. I would not recommend it to a lot of people because it's a very like market and economics heavy show and series if you're reading light novels. So I wouldn't recommend it to a lot of people. I would give it a 9 out of 10 because I loved it. It was compelling. The characters were great. But that last bit is like it just isn't it's not something that a lot of people would enjoy because it's so like you have to be mentally present for every episode. Whereas like I feel like for a show to be a 10 out of 10 show, you don't have to like devote yourself to it to be able to like enjoy it. It has to be a show that like I can look away from, I can look back at. I don't want to look away from, but I can look away from and not feel guilty and like not feel like I'm now lost and don't understand something.
Yeah. Okay. I can agree to that. Again, that's kind of why I think Always Sunny is at least as close to a 10 out of 10 as a show really can be, in that like I don't feel bad if I miss like a scene, but if I do, I could go back, watch it, and then reappreciate it.
Right. I understand.
So okay, I've never actually been here for one of Brandon's on calls before.
hmm
Is he just done for the night?
No, he should be back. He has to go
Okay.
off and deal with so essentially, yeah, Brendan has responsibilities to his company and the
Yeah.
people that his company are employed by. And so he got called off to deal with somebody's website. And so he has to make sure, or whatever servers, whatever thing he deals with. And so he has to go off and like fix it essentially. And so if he fixes it, he can come back. And we'll see how long it takes him to come back.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah. That's what he's off for. That was the sad trombone.
Yeah, I figured that's what it was when that went off. I was like, what the hell?
That
What
I
the hell's
immediately
happening right now?
reacted with. I knew that he was on call. Yeah. I forgot that he told us about. He told me about that. I feel like last week, and I hadn't heard it up until just now. So I think this is the first time that he's gotten hit with the on call while we were together or we were doing something together.
Okay. So is there anything for this next season that you were thinking that's like, yes, this is
Oh
gonna
right, we
be
need to
great?
pick shows for next season.
Yeah.
I for, I feel like we like delayed it a week so that we could do it with Alex, but now he's not here.
Well, it's not so much his fault, so
It's not. He doesn't have internet, so I can't blame him for not being here. But still, like that was the original reason why we didn't like go through with it.
I mean we had some choices last time. I know at least me, Brennan, I believe you were as well, like pretty on board with that one with the Yakuzas who are
The
being forced
Backstreet
into pop.
Girls.
Backstreet
Uh-huh.
Girls, that's what it's called. I'm definitely down for that. I think that'll be really, really cool. Um,
Brandon and I have been talking about the Hot Springs show for a while.
Okay.
As an
I mean, if it's something
option.
that interests you guys, far be it from me to be like, nah.
Have we given you an ecchi show yet? I feel like we haven't.
Describe ecchi. Oh, it's porn.
Sexually
It's porn.
charged. Not porn. It's not porn. That's
No?
hentai. We're never going to do a hentai show. An ecchi show is something with a lot of like sexual humor to it. So it's a lot of like, you know, the girls are bursting out almost out of their clothes, and it's a lot of like, you know.
Is it played for laughs usually?
Yeah,
or is
it's
it
usually
like
played for laughs.
Okay.
It's more for laughs. It's a little bit of like the look how attractive everybody is, but it's not going to be like, you know, they're constantly trying to like give him hand jobs or something.
Okay. Okay.
It's just like he'll walk in on somebody as they're changing probably or something like that.
It's like the beach one, right? Or is that
The beach one.
yeah? Hold on.
The beach volleyball one?
Fucking all right. Here's the
Or
thing.
or
Battle Block
the
Theater,
Grand Blue. You're talking about Grand Blue. The one with
probably.
the guys and they go to college and they hang out together.
No, that's free. Yeah, that's free. I know because that's a really homoerotic one.
No, free is the swim club one.
Wait, is it not? Is
No. Free is the swim club one. I'm pretty sure you're thinking of something from this season, correct? From
yeah,
this upcoming season?
yeah.
You're thinking of Grand Blue.
Okay. Let me see if I can actually find out how to get custom faces on Battle Block. That'll be interesting.
Oh, go for it.
Yeah, there was nothing that made me go, wow, that looks great.
We were talking about Backstreet Girls. Brandon and I've been talking about the Hot Springs show for a while. With how popular it is, I almost feel compelled to do Satsuriku no Tenshi.
Which one was that again?
The one with Jeff the Killer wielding the scythe and the girl who wants to die but keeps running away.
Okay.
The one that Brandon said was going to be Alex's favorite. It's like the fourth most popular show in this season, and everything else above it is all, you know, sequels to something that's majorly popular. So I feel compelled to give it a try. It's just to see why everybody's so interested in it. I don't want to pass up on something that could be like amazing just because it looks fucking stupid. Because it could be just stupid entertaining. I don't know. By the way, I said this a lot. And I don't know if I ever explained it. And I feel like you questioned it at one point. Do you know what I mean by AOT when I said that the first most popular show was AOT 3? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Attack on Titan.
Yeah, it's Attack on Titan. Okay.
Yeah.
I said it a whole bunch, and at some point you were like, you made some questioning noise, and I was wondering if you didn't like, since I never explained AOT is just AOT Attack on Titan. I was wondering if you
I presume it's season 3.
Is season 3, yeah. I'd forgotten to go back and like mention that to you to make sure that you understood what I was saying. Because I don't want to leave you out and just like assume that you have the knowledge of what AOT is.
No, I can figure some things out. I try to at least try to ask, unless it's something that seems like everyone should know, and then I feel a little embarrassed. It's like, oh no,
I mean, you can always ask.
it.
I'm sure that, you know, again, should somebody ever mistakenly stumble into this podcast, I doubt they're going to know everything. They're going to know shit about anime that I have never heard of, and I'll know some stuff that they'll never have heard of. And, you know, it's better for me if you remind me to explain stuff that I just forget to mention sometimes. So saying AOT is Attack on Titan, even if somebody's heard of Attack on Titan, but they don't know what I mean by AOT immediately, because it could be anything in, you know, Japanese, it does help for me to say, when I say AOT, it is Attack on Titan.
Okay. I found a Steam forum on how to get custom heads, and a subreddit dedicated to people just posting heads.
Just what their heads look like.
Yeah. So, and you can copy those.
Oh, okay.
So you can use any of them. I'm going to.
It's like the fucking old school tutorials in shit like Tom Clancy's Vegas 2, where it was like how to make your character look like Iron Man.
That's the one I'm going to use.
Iron Man?
No, I just posted a
Oh, did you? Oh, I just scrolled down. Solid.
I think that's a
It's
good
the handsome
choice.
Squidward head, in case anybody is wondering. In
Oh
case our
yeah,
audience of
that's
0 people.
important.
I don't know if
Oh, you
Brandon's
could
gonna
you could
remember
be
to put in the
Reggie.
pictures.
Oh, you could be the Daft Punk guys.
Hyphy. Yeah, I keep telling Brandon to put in the pictures that we post, and I feel like he hasn't. So I feel for anybody who's the audio only listeners will say it's the handsome Squidward face. That's what Jeff is gonna make his battle block character look like. As I sit here and try and decide what another third show from next season that we could watch is. I kind of had hopes for this Holmes show. I watched the trailer. It just looks disappointing. Like I was hoping it was going to be like this, it was going to be like what Hyuga could have been, like way more focused on the mysteries and like actual like real mysteries that are cool and interesting and like with deep and interesting plots and like how they did it. The trailer makes it look awful. I'm so sad that it is not like as cool and interesting as I wished it was going to be.
Is it what's the website we're using again? My anime list?
Anychart.net.
Anychart.net. All right.
It's called Kyoto Teramachi Sanjo no Holmes. Maybe I'm too pampered by Sherlock, and now I want everything to be. I just want it to be like anime Sherlock is essentially what I want.
I didn't know you were a fan of Sherlock.
I enjoy it. I haven't watched the new season.
I haven't
I got,
either.
like,
I actually
halfway
don't
through the
know how
first
many
episode.
seasons behind I'm behind.
There is currently 4 seasons.
Oh, okay, I'm only 1 season behind.
Okay. But yeah, I got like halfway through the first episode of the 4th season, and I was like, I'll finish this at some point, and I never got back to it. And I feel kind of bad.
Yeah.
Like it's
There's nothing
good
wrong
too.
with
Like
it.
I enjoy it. I should go back and watch it. I just never make time for it.
Well, they're like an hour and a half each. Like it's almost a whole movie to watch one episode.
Yeah.
So I'd be like, oh, like dedicating yourself to a season. It's like, yeah, I'm gonna watch the Star Wars trilogy. Not quite, but I mean,
Not quite.
that's because Star Wars are what 2.5 hours each, something like that.
Probably. I would be better at this if you had picked like the Lord of the Rings trilogy, because I know that it's like 2.5 hours, 2 and 45, and then like 3 and 10, I think.
This is a small season. I feel like there's not a lot of
Shows
a
in
lot of
this
things.
season.
Yeah.
It might be a little bit lighter. I don't feel like it's significantly lighter than other seasons. I know that we were also talking about dedicating a week to be the show me your panties and make a disgusted face show. We were gonna have like a one episode like devoted all to that show.
We can do that next week since there'll be no.
It won't be out for 38 days.
Oh,
It's a
that's a
single
show.
episode.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a single show. It's coming out this season in 38 days, and it's one episode that'll be 24 minutes long. We don't know what to even expect out of the show.
Okay, I thought that was like a. Oh, I thought that was like a trope that was like, hey, we're gonna like do a thing about this.
Oh
okay,
no,
that
this
makes
is a
more
straight up
sense.
show. Yeah,
Okay, okay.
this is not a trope. This is not a joke, Jeffrey. This is real fucking life.
I'm sorry.
We don't joke about girls showing us their panties and making disgusted faces in this book club.
It's a very serious matter.
It's a very serious matter. We don't kink shame here. Stop judging me, Jeffrey. I'll have you know that, I don't know. I was going to make a joke about pronouns, but I feel like it took me way too long to try and think of appropriate pronouns to use for that joke, and I still haven't come up with anything. It was going to be like pantsu and pantsu self, but I was like, that's not very good, but it was all that I had. I don't know what to pick for the other show. Of course, you're not helping with recommending yet another thing that doesn't start for like another month.
Yeah, I didn't like. That's not even like the butt detective or whatever. Where it was like, oh, this is funny. Like this one just seemed kind of interesting with spirit lawyers.
Yeah, but it doesn't start for a month, so
Yeah.
you know.
I understand.
Can't do
What is our
anything with
plan
that.
for? what is our plan for next week? Since there will be no things, like, should we just should I plan to watch like a season of a show that's already been released so we can talk about that in retrospect or something like
Well,
that,
we may have to plan for something like that.
or a movie maybe?
Maybe we'll have to give you. I mean, we could watch whatchamacallit that we said we were gonna watch. Samurai Batman, I think is what it was.
Yes, that'd be pretty good.
I don't know. The reason we haven't talked about it more, I don't know if you were here for this while Brandon and I talked about Ninja Batman is what it was called. Anyways, the reason that Brandon and I talked about this, and I don't know if you were here for this, but the reason we haven't watched it yet was because like when it first came out and for like a little while after it came out, there wasn't like a really good English sub of it that existed. Like it was all like kind of shitty fan subs because there's no
Really?
like official sub of it, and there wasn't like a high quality fan sub done. It was all like kind of shoddy. And
Okay.
so we never really like Brandon and I were never really like we didn't want to make us all watch something like that if it was going to be like the sub quality was going to be that low. Because like you haven't watched anything yet that has like that's done by like pure fan subs that are like kind of shit. But it's a rough experience. Like the translation, like the sentences don't feel right. Like they'll leave in a lot of like superfluous Japanese words for no reason. Like it's very off. It's very off-putting of an experience.
Okay.
So
Well, I appreciate not being required to go through that, but
yeah,
I thought it was released in English as well. Like,
uh,
wouldn't that counteract the?
as far as I know, no, it wasn't immediately released in English.
Okay.
It was immediately it was released in Japan. The fucking Christ! It was released in Japanese, and then I think the English studio was then given the script, but they basically had to like translate it all themselves and like figure out how to get it to work. So like the
Okay.
English version didn't come out for a while because they were basically just given like the raw script and been told like figure it out yourself. Like the Japanese studio just did not care. So I don't
Okay.
think they came out concurrently. I think if there is an English version, it came out later.
There's definitely an English version. I'm at the.
Okay.
Well, I
So,
googled it. What?
so we may be able to watch that now. So we could do Ninja Batman.
Which is interesting. I didn't know. I wouldn't picture. I picture Batman as very much like an American superhero. I wouldn't really think off
Yes.
the top of my head that the Japanese would be interested in a Batman movie just because he's gone to Japan now, even if it is like feudal Japan.
I feel like a lot of American culture kind of things with how like internationally marketed a lot of our movies are. You know, after the Nolan movies, I could definitely see something like Batman becoming more popular overseas because those were just such good movies that I'm sure enough people were like, I want to see where this comes from, like we do, where we watch anime and then it's like, I want to see what the source material for this is like. I'm sure they wanted to see what the source material for Batman was like, and then they were like, damn, this shit's really good.
Now, isn't like the thing with the Asian market in terms of movies, like they are more um about how it's filmed, like the action sequence, which is why the Transformers movies are still currently being made because they do so well in the Asian market. Not because the story is great or anything like that. It doesn't do as well in an American market, but overseas just because of like how cool it looks. And it does look like the movies look good. They will automatically like succeed in. Well, I don't know. I haven't
Maybe
seen the
I don't
last
know.
like 3 Transformers movies.
I just know that saying that they don't have very good script writing is like an understatement.
Well, yeah, I
The
mean it
last one where they
is.
were like, you know, like, oh, Bumblebee, you're so nice, except for when he's fighting the Nazis. Then he was a monster. That was an actual plotline. Bumblebee fought the Nazis, and he like massacred them. He went like Inglorious Bastard on some Nazis.
Really?
He went hunting for some scalps.
Which movie was that in? Because I don't remember that at
The
all. But
most recent one. Uh,
oh, the
the one
medieval
where
knights.
Optimus is the bad guy.
Wait, Optimus is a bad guy now?
I think. I mean, now I don't know. The most recent one. What was the most recent Transformers?
Uh,
Transformers. Why? Oh, god damn it.
the one with the Knights Templar in it.
Yes.
Okay.
Transformers 5? Transformers The Last Night.
It's a fucking dumb concept. Here's an interesting thing. Fuck, what's his name from Arrested Development? The guy with the hook hand.
I actually never watched that show.
Oh, dang it. Well, he plays the Joker in the American dub.
Oh, cool.
It's weird because he's such a weird looking guy in Arrested Development.
Yeah. I mean, he's just such a weird looking guy, end of sentence.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry, but that man has like a strange face.
Well, like compare this to something like this, where he looks relatively normal. Like there is
Okay, I guess, yeah.
there's a difference.
He definitely has, his facial features are accentuated for weirdness in
Yes.
whatever makeup they do for him for Arrested Development. I guess, yeah, I can see that now. He's not like Steve Buscemi, who just always has a weird face.
Yes. Yes. Steve Buscemi just always looks weird.
But I mean, he turned that into a career.
Yeah.
So
I
I gotta
mean,
give him mad props for that.
yeah, good for him.
Did we ever make you watch Neo Yokio?
No, you didn't make me watch it.
Are you here
And
for
I
that?
never did.
Damn, you missed out.
It's still on Netflix. I could watch it.
Show was legendary. Steve
I
Buscemi
mean,
is in that show.
is he really? Does he
Yes.
play Steve Buscemi?
Not exactly.
But kind of.
A little bit.
Okay.
He plays a very like Steve Buscemi character. Like it's a character that you look at and you're like, that makes sense that that's Steve Buscemi.
Okay.
It's a very like it's a very surreal show. Like the show, it almost makes fun of itself. And so it's such a bizarre show because everything feels so overdone and yet it feels like nothing happens. Like it's such a weird fucking show. I kind of want them to do a season 2.
Now was it written by the people who did was it written by Jaden Smith?
I don't think so.
Because I know he at least had a part in it.
He is the main
Like-
character.
Yeah, I know he's the main character, but I also thought he was like he was important in the development of it.
It doesn't look like he was involved in the writing of it. He wasn't directly involved in the writing of it, at least. He may have been involved in it in some sort of like, advisory sense. It's a bizarre show. You should watch it and experience it in all of its weird glory. It has Jude Law in it
Okay.
and Sarah Sarandon. It has like a bizarrely like decent voice acting or bizarrely decent just general cash. For a second there, I thought it said it had Joe DiMaggio. I was like, it brought Joe DiMaggio back from the dead for a voice line. This would be interesting. All right, back to looking at shows for the next season.
Yeah, the important
thing, we do need to decide. And we need to discuss with Brandon the possibility of either watching a season for next episode or watching Ninja Batman. Because from the looks of it, some combination of things that we pick won't be out next episode. If we do Backstreet Girls and Satsuriku no Tenshi, those will both be out. But the Hot Springs show definitely won't be out next week. What else was on our list of things that we were interested in possibly watching?
Let me look through. I liked the idea of Shinya Tensei Bakaban, which is the original family comedy manga centers around an idiotic boy and his father, just because it looks so weird.
I think the agreement was that you can watch that, and possibly after the third episode of something, we may, if it's good
Swap out.
enough, transition to it. But just looking at the poster for it, I'm not certain that it's going to be.
No, I don't think that's going to be for everyone.
Yeah.
I might just watch Bud Detective instead, just because it's already out now. Even if it's poorly received, I want to see it.
The other
Is there
thing that we
anything
were
else
talking,
that I liked?
we were talking about, Brian and I were talking about watching, or not watching, but we were talking about how weird Chio-chan no Sugakoro was. That show, the only way I could describe it was if they made Pop Team Epic look like a normal anime.
What do you mean if they made it look like a normal anime?
Like the style of it, like the characters look like any other, like they would in any other show, but the subject matter is still like so bizarre and like out of left field.
Okay. Actually, every once in a while, I'll watch like a Pop Team Epic skit. I don't think the show is bad. I just can't watch an episode though.
Have not sat down to actually watch an episode in a very long time.
I
think I
the
watched
first.
half of the first episode and was like, I can't. Literally and physically cannot anymore.
Well, they played it back, but with male voice actors for the second half.
Oh, that's right.
So it was like, it such a fucking weird show. One that I was kind of interested in was Tenru Sirius the Jaeger. And it was werewolves, vampires.
Was that the one with the CGI cars?
Oh, it might be. Hold on. Yes, it was.
Okay. I was gonna say it's like in the first 3 seconds of the trailer. You can literally just open the trailer and you'll know immediately.
Yeah, CGI cars.
CGI cars. We can put it on the list. We will present Brandon with CGI cars as a possibility. I mean, there has to be a third, so it'll either be CGI cars or Satsuriku no Tenshi, or you wanted to watch. I think. Did you bring up Phantom in the Twilight?
I did not.
Okay, never mind then.
Is that this season?
It is. It's done
I
by
wish it was
Leiden
in
Films.
alphabetical order.
You can put it in alphabetical order.
Or can you?
Yeah, you go sort and then sort by title.
Oh, you're right.
But yeah, it's done by Leiden Films, who are the same people who did Killing Bites. And they did a whole bunch of other stuff, but Killing Bites is the most recent thing that I know that you watched. So I don't know if that means it'll be good or not, but you know, as an example of what studio and what quality you might be able to expect from it, I have no idea if it's good or not. I thought you had brought it up. I don't know if I even watched the trailer for it. It, from the poster, looks a little generic. It looks like a reverse harem, essentially, so I don't really have a whole lot of hope for it as a show anymore, now that I look at it. Was this the one where she gets, like... It looks like she's gonna get gangbanged by vampires? That might be the one. We also talked about watching Happy Sugar Life, but I'm not certain if I want to subject us to that. That looks like it's just going to be disappointing.
Yes, that's
Kind of in the same way that Sight was disappointing out of this season, but even worse because it's going to involve a high school girl taking advantage of like an elementary school girl, which is just weird for all sorts of reasons. I was okay with
the
it.
Ozzy
But
and Drix show looked good too. It looked interesting at least. I won't say it looked good, but it looked interesting.
I love that you just keep calling it the Ozzy and Drix show.
Because that's what it is. It's what it is.
I mean, it's not. Drix was a pill.
Yeah, he was literally a pill, but Ozzy was a white blood. And our
yes,
main
but
character
he looked like a white blood cell.
This is just the anime character who's all white.
Yeah, these characters look like mostly like people. Drix straight up looked like a vaguely humanoid white blood cell.
No, Drix was the pill.
I'm sorry, Drix was the pill. Ozzy was the white blood cell.
Osmandus Jones.
Wasn't he Osmosis Jones?
Yeah. That's what the movie is called. Ozzy and Drix is the TV show, where it was like a buddy cop.
Oh, okay. But yeah, his name was Osmosis Jones.
Yes.
It was not Osmandius.
Oh,
It
it's
wasn't
my fucking. That's the. I'm sorry.
You're thinking of Ozymandias from
Yes.
the.
Watchmen.
Thank you. Yes, Watchmen.
Osmosis. Fuck. I'm sorry. All
Smartest
right.
man in the world, or smartest man on the ash pile.
We should
was so-
watch Ozzy and Drix for our anime of next week.
The movie or like a season of the television show?
Season of the television show. I think because
long
the movie's
season.
actually pretty good. Like last time I saw it, which admittedly was like 6 years ago.
Doesn't it have fuck? It has. Goddamn, who is the human being in that?
Garfield. I don't know.
Garfield.
Bill Murray.
Bill Murray. Thank you. I couldn't think of his
Plays
name either.
Garfield.
You were absolutely right in calling him Garfield. I've just never heard Bill Murray like when I'm like, that role that Bill Murray had. People don't immediately go to Garfield.
Oh, people go Peter Venkman.
Yeah, people. Yeah, I was gonna say people go to Ghostbusters first.
But I couldn't remember Peter Venkman either. So I was like, Garfield, I know that name.
Oh, good enough.
They change bodies. Like they're in some kid's body in the TV show. They're not in cartoon Bill Murray's body.
Oh, they don't have. Well, I'm not surprised they don't have the voice actors for Ozzy and Drix anymore.
I mean, did they not reappear for the show?
No.
Oh, how disappointing.
Well, hold on. Let's see. Did they get Drix again? I doubt they.
Well,
got
Phil
Drix.
Lamar he's a pretty big name actor.
I mean, yeah, but he's not Chris Rock, who did Ozzy in the movie.
That is true. That is true.
And then I don't think they got. Yeah, they didn't get David Hyde Pierce either to do Drix.
There's only 26 episodes in both seasons.
It contains no live action.
Yeah, there's no live action in the television show because I don't know reasons.
That would be way harder. Yeah.
It wouldn't be. Would it be harder? Because I feel like I guess it wasn't expensive animation or anything.
I mean, they still have to if you're gonna do a live action anything, you have to go out and get permits to film in that area or make a set and build up a whole bunch of stuff for a scene that's gonna be maybe a maximum of a minute in your television show. It's a lot of effort to expend for something that's just gonna be not a whole lot of content in your show, so it's easier just to make it all animated.
I guess that makes sense.
The show is less violent than the movie and contains less adult humor.
Is that surprising at all?
No.
Like the villain is pretty spooky in Osmosis Jones. He gets a wire and tries to strangle our main character with it.
Oh my god. Jesus, that is a straight up garrote.
There's straight up murder if I'm remembering correctly. He kills a lot of people. Well, a lot of cells, but a lot of characters. Why is it when I Google Osmosis Jones, half the pictures that show up are fan art?
It's a popular show from our childhood who have now grown up to be decent artists and want to make fan art of it, probably. There are still a few hidden adult jokes, such as a rapping Cell saying he wanna see how Y chromosomes fit. Jesus H. Christ.
Oh my gosh. See, how else are we supposed to find the small adult jokes in the show if we don't review it for our fan base? How are they supposed to know?
Our fan base of 0.
Yeah.
How will they ever know about all of those adult references that they make in the Ozzy and Drix TV show? Oh my god, what? I need to now look this up. Black superhero manhole cover.
Metal cover.
Manhole cover. Static. We should
Oh,
watch the
Static Shock?
Shock TV show.
Oh, I loved that show as a
That
kid.
TV show.
Oh, I loved that show as a
That
kid.
show was awesome.
So fucking cool. And like Batman made appearances every once in a while too.
Dude, I think Shaq made an appearance in that show.
Some basketball player did.
There was like
Was
four of them.
it
There was like a team that showed up. They were essentially like the Power Rangers, I think. They had like Shaq. I want to say they had Yao Ming. I think they had John Stockton, who's white, as their like one white guy to represent the, you know, how usually it's one black guy. They had John Stockton as the one white guy. And then I think they either had Scottie Pippen or they had
I got a picture for you. I don't know any basketball players, but
oh, they had Steve Nash, Yao Ming, Shaq, and Dwight Howard.
there we go.
Yeah, so they have Steve Nash as their one white guy. Still only have the one Asian guy. Still holding strong to that one. God, I love that show. We should do
It's
a
really
season
good.
of Static Shock.
I would be so down to watch a season of Static Shock for Anime Book Club next week.
Let's see. Season 1 is 13 episodes.
That is not bad. We could do that.
The Anime Book Club interim anime. Static Shock. The American television show. I don't even know where to watch Static Shock.
You just Google it. Google Static Shock. Go
But
anime.
does anything still carry it? Like, does anybody
Yeah.
even have that?
YouTube.
Static. I mean,
Like,
I want to
I've
watch it
seen-
at not 240p though. Static Shock Season 1. Episode 1. Cartooncrazy.net. Sounds super sus. But it looks like they have it. Alright, we may be watching Static Shock Season 1. That shit would be legit though.
It's like no one else gets the memo. Like Brandon doesn't come back. We don't message Alex or anything. So next week, you and me just get to talk about Static
Static
Shock
Shock.
the whole time.
We tell Brandon like, oh yeah, these are the shows we're doing. So he watches like whatever shows come out. He's like, are you guys ready to talk about the anime? We're like, oh, we're doing that next week. This is the Static Shock week.
Well, there's no animes out right now, so there's not going to be anything for next week.
I mean, at least Backstreet Girls comes out in a day and a half.
Oh, does it really?
Yeah, the first episode.
Okay.
But then depending on what else we pick, like the Hot Springs show doesn't come out for 12 days, so that definitely won't be out next Sunday. So we may only have there may only be like 1 or 2 episodes of something. So we may just wait a week and then talk about all of them at once. So we may do like a episode 1 and then episode 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 kind of thing. So it depends on what we pick and what we feel like
Okay.
doing. And if we're actually going to do the Static Shock thing.
I kind of actually want to do the Static Shock thing.
I mean, I'd be okay with that, but if we're gonna do the Static Shock thing, I don't know if we're gonna watch anything else. Like I wouldn't want to make people watch that and also 2 episodes of anime.
Yeah, 15 episodes in a week would be a little bit much.
I mean, yeah. I mean, 13 is a little bit much, but you know, you make sacrifices for something that you enjoy. And I enjoy Static Shock, and I want to watch it. I feel like I love it as a show. Like I love the concept of it, and I love it as a show. I have no memory of it though, so like watching it will be an entirely new experience to me.
Let's see. I remember very few things. I remember they did one where it was like a duo, and the little girl and like her father were supervillains, but the little girl was like by far more popular, not popular, powerful.
Uh-huh.
And like Static convinced her to become a good guy, and so she gets like taken away by Child Protective Services, and that's how that episode ends.
Uh-huh.
There was one about race relations. They did his white best friend. His dad was a racist.
Oh, that's awesome.
It was like Static, like he was like, white best friend, why don't you ever invite me to your house? He's like, no reason. Then they go to his house and they find out he's a racist.
Solid.
I don't know what season that's from, but I remember that one because I think that was my first like introduction into anything race relations.
I'm not surprised. I mean,
That
yeah,
was-
the first season came out in 99, I think I just saw. Or 2000. It came out in 2000. So I was 6 years old when the first season came out.
yeah.
I knew nothing about any of that. I think I barely understood the concept of race at 6.
Yeah.
I knew that other people had different skin colors, but I'm sure that if you asked me at 6, I would probably just tell you it had something to do with being out in the sun for too long. Like, yeah, they're just really tan.
Honestly, it's probably the same. Like when I was a kid, because I think
I mean, it's like a
I
natural, like,
didn't.
kid logical progression. Like, if
Yeah.
I stay out in the sun for too long, my skin gets darker. This person has dark skin. Therefore, they were out in the sun for a very long time. Like, that's a logical progression for a 6-year-old to make.
What else? Can I remember anything else? I remember some of the villains. There was a fire guy who was like the reoccurring villain that was like not particularly powerful, but like always was there because he was in Static's high school class or whatever school he was in. Um, there was one guy that freaked me out when I was a kid. He was like purple and black, and he would like I don't know, he had stretchy powers, something like that.
All right.
Um, there was one episode where Static lost his powers because of a solar flare, and some people got extra powers, and so his friend like made him like little electricity grenades so he could pretend that he'd be as powerful. And that was and then like yeah, like some wacky hijinks ensued, something like that. I don't remember. I really liked the show as a kid though. I would watch it all the time.
For action sequences, Wolf wanted to use, quote, real adrenaline pumping beat of 125 beats per minute. However, hip hop music usually only reach 110 beats. The predominant score was electronica with some hip hop type and DMX type vocals. R&B and classic hip hop melodies were also used depending on the scenes, and each character had a specific theme. This shit sounds awesome. Starting from the 3rd season, the show had a new opening theme written by Master P and Little Romeo. Hyphy.
Oh boy.
I love it. We have to watch it now. We have to watch at least the 1st season.
We've hyped ourselves up too much now.
Like I feel like it's like that 70s show. It's the reason why I went back and I've been watching that 70s show now that I got older. Is like this is a show that I remember watching, but like I never plan on watching it when I'm a kid. Like it's just on, and therefore I watched an episode. So I want to go back and sit down and like watch a season of it, and like actually enjoy like the plot of a season's worth of the show. This shit looks so good. Well, it has crossed over 9:30. Brandon's recording is probably like 2 hours and 20 minutes now. I don't know if he's ever going to return in time for this, so I think we're going to sign off for this episode of Book Club. I'm sorry that Brandon isn't here to say goodbye to you, our lovely audience of Zero, but the two of us are here who stuck with you for roughly an hour of random shit to talk about.
Yeah.
Uh,
Not bad for talking about one episode of
yeah.
fucking Megalobox.
And then we just
But-
talked about what made a show a 10 out of 10 and my opinions of SAO and other shit. And, we filled up time. And we
Yeah,
planned out
sounds
what we could watch, and we'll have to we'll decide and talk about next time what we will be watching. And I'll try to remember to let Brandon and Alex know to watch the season 1 of Static Shock, which we will talk about next episode. So
Yeah.
you can look forward to that. Is Static Shock and a return to our childhood.
So let's sell out really quick because we can't abandon tradition.
Oh right, I can't abandon tradition and sell out, and I can't sell it to Static Shock.
Yeah, I wanted to sell it to Static Shock, and then you repeated. I was like, I can't do it now. I'll sell it to Osmandus Jones for sparking the Static Shock conversation, and
All
just being a show that I really did enjoy as a kid.
I
mean,
will sell out to. I'm going to sell out in the spirit of selling out to animated shows from our childhood that we loved. I'm going to sell it to Rocket Power. That show is criminally underrated in my opinion, and more people should go watch it. It's a great show about kids enjoying extreme sports, like 1990s level extreme sports. So it's like skating and skateboarding and BMX and stuff like that. People should go watch it. It was a great show.
not to continue the podcast, but I hated that show as a kid.
Oh, really? I love that show.
I did not like it.
Fucking Shoobies. Woogity, woogity, woogity. All right.
There's too much of that. There's too much of that. That's why I didn't like it.
Because you're a fucking shoopy, clearly.
Clearly.
All right.
All right,
This is-
man.
This is Nick signing off for
This-
Anime Book Club.
Jeff is leaving Anime Book Club for the night. Fuck, that was terrible. Goodbye.
Peace.